Here we have the 38th verse of the 18th chapter of the Gospel of John. We've reached the end of the interrogation between Pilate and Jesus, in which Jesus has been indicating to Pilate that he came into this world to reveal the truth, and those who belong to him are the ones who understand that. And of course we get this presumably cynical response from Pilate. Lege, he says, third person singular, present active indicative. Auto, this is the indirect object, dative singular masculine. He says to him, that is, says to Jesus. Then the subject of the verb, ho Pilatos, Pilate. So Pilate says to him. Te, interrogative pronoun. It can be either what or why. Context determines. Here it is what. So what estin, third person singular, present active indicative of eimi, I am. So what is aletheia? What is truth? Question mark at the end, of course. And with that, the conversation is terminated. John continues, kai, the connective, tuto. This is the demonstrative pronoun. This is the accusative, singular, neuter. So this, here we have the participle of lego, I say. It's the aorist participle. It's the masculine, singular, nominative. It's in the aorist, so it's indicating action preceding the time of the leading verb, and so having said this, we would render it. Palin, indeclinable, adverb, again, so having said this, again, ex eilthin, from ex erchomai, I go out. This is the third person singular, aorist active indicative, so having said this, again, he went out. Pros, preposition, takes the accusative, tous, the accusative, plural, it's masculine article, went out to the Udaius, to the Jews, who of course were waiting outside the praetorium, didn't want to enter in because they didn't want to defile themselves in advance of the Passover celebration. So he goes out to them, kai, the connective, lege, again, same word, third person singular, present active indicative, and says autos, to them, referring to Udaius, the Jews. This is the dative, plural, masculine. He says to them, ego, with emphasis now, I, and then udamia, literally not one. It's an adjective. In this case, it's going to modify aition. Aition is from the verb aiteo, which means to ask. It's a noun form, feminine noun, and it really is referring to the result of asking, in which we wind up with an idea of not one accusation, not one basis for the claims you've made against him, is Pilate going to admit to. So I, not one, fault, is the way it's usually rendered. Heurisco, from heurisco, of course, first person singular, present active indicative, to find, and then in, auto, in with the dative here, masculine and singular. So I, not one fault, find in him, or I, not one, find in him fault. One way or another, of course, Pilate is making it abundantly clear that while from his point of view Jesus might be kind of an odd person, somewhat mysterious, even somewhat frightening, nevertheless Pilate is not prepared to dig any deeper into what's going on, but simply reaches his judicial opinion that there's certainly no basis for the accusations that have been brought, let alone for death by crucifixion, and that's what he reports, of course, to those who have brought the charges in the first place.